All right, so I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I feel like is a lot of the times misrepresented, one that a lot of people will kind of disregard because they feel like it makes no sense. So I want to talk to you guys about biblical prophecy and how the cold hard facts will back it up, and how the prophecy that we have today can prove the life of Jesus and that the Bible is real. So if you go to J. Barton Pine's Encyclopedia of Biblical Prophecy, he's got a number there that says there's about 1,239 prophecies in the Old Testament, and then there is 578 in the New Testament, making a total of 1,817. But I want to focus on just 8 today. I picked 8 prophecies that were made well before the life of Jesus to lead up to his life and death, and the prophecies made really just about him, and I want to focus on him today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these 8 prophecies. I'm going to tell you where they're found in the Old Testament, what the prophecy says, and or where they were fulfilled in the New Testament, or wherever they were fulfilled, and as well as the scrolls that they were found in, and the dates of these scrolls to help back up these prophecies. So the first one is Isaiah 56, and this one basically just says he gives us back to the beatings, and you can find this being fulfilled in Mark 15:15. This was found in the Great Isaiah Scroll, and the crazy thing about this is it's dated 700 years, just about 700 years before the life of Christ. Now, all of these that I'm going to go through will have, the dates, but to think that these prophecies were made 700 years before the life of Christ, and we've got the scrolls to prove that these were real things, that the dates were real, that there's no way that Jesus could pull this off. This isn't just a fairy tale. Now, Micah 5:1 says, hit across the face with a rod. And this as well is fulfilled in Matthew 27:30. Now, this word, it always catches me. I think it's tenek. That's the scroll that it's found in. And the dates for that is 750 to 668 years before the life of Christ. The dates aren't for sure, but still, we know that it is a long time before Jesus was actually born. And then the third prophecy here, which is personally my favorite, is Micah 5:2, which says that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem. This was fulfilled in Matthew 2, verses 1, and as well as found in the Tenek, I don't know how you pronounce that, but 750 to 668 years before the life of Christ. And the cool thing about this prophecy is that, if you really want to, prove to somebody that this is for real, I would suggest go to this one, because I don't think there is no way that Jesus could pull off where he was going to be born. That's not something you can fake. That's not something, that people, when they say, oh, prophecy, it's all fake, he just, read the things and did it, just to prove a point. There's no way that Jesus was in his mother's, belly tapping, we have to be born in Bethlehem. Make sure it's not over here. We've got to be in Bethlehem. It's impossible. So, Jesus could not control where he was going to be born. The next few prophecies are all in Psalms. They're all found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were anywhere from 1500 to about 500 years before the life of Christ. So, Psalms 22, 6 through 8 says that he will be insulted. And you can find that, in fact, he was insulted in Matthew 27, 28 through 30. And those are, again, found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, dated anywhere between 15 to 500 years before the life of Christ. And Psalm 16 says, his hands and feet will be pierced. And that is fulfilled in John 19, 16 through 8. Psalms 22, 17 through 18 says, they will cast lots for his clothing. That was fulfilled in Matthew 27, 35. Psalms 41, 9 says that he will be betrayed by a close friend. And that is fulfilled in 26, 21. In Matthew 26, 21. And then the last prophecy, the 8th prophecy, is Psalms 22, verse 15, says that he will be thirsty. And in fact, he was thirsty. You can read about that in John 19 through 28, or 19, 28. And again, I can tell you these things and I can read them to you, I can tell the scrolls, but I would suggest you do the research yourself, so you're not just taking my word for it, so you can physically see the proof of these scrolls, so that you can read the dates of when they were found, when they were written, so that you can know, not just by my word, but by your own research, that these were in fact written anywhere from 500 to 1500 years before the life of Christ. So you know that these things are not made up, that they're not fairy tale. So I've given you the proof, but I want to kind of make you guys aware, kind of put this in the bigger picture of things. I want to give you an example of the chances of Jesus fulfilling just 8 of these prophecies. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to tell you there are 48 prophecies, generally about 48, about the life and death of Christ. And Jesus fulfilled all 48 of these things. But I want to focus on 8 so I can kind of give you a perspective of the chances of Jesus fulfilling just 8 of these prophecies. So, the chances of Jesus fulfilling 8 of these prophecies is 10 to the power of 16. Now, I'll write this number out so you can kind of think about it. That is 10 to the power of 16. Now, you kind of can't see it because the TV's in the way, but I want you guys to be able to look at this number and realize how big this number is. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? And the fact that Jesus beat the 1 out of 10 to the power of 16 chances, he fulfilled those 8 prophecies. And the crazy thing is, if we look at the bigger picture of the 48 prophecies that were told about his life and death, that would be 10 to the power of 157. There's not enough room on this chalkboard to write that number out, and I wouldn't have time to do that because that's 10 with 157 zeros behind it. And that's a crazy number. I mean, to think about that Jesus beat those odds, that he got that 1 out of this number chances of fulfilling those 8 prophecies. But let me put into perspective the size of this number. If we were to take this piece of chalk and have one piece of chalk to represent this number, 10 to the power of 16, we could fill the entire state of Texas 2 feet deep with this piece of chalk, or with the pieces of chalk around this size. Now, let's say I were to take you, I blindfold you, I stick you in the middle of Texas, which is now 2 feet deep of this piece of chalk, and I were to tell you that I threw one of these somewhere in the state, and I mixed it all up, and there's one piece of pink chalk amongst all of the ugly colored piece of chalk. And I tell you, I'm going to blindfold you, I stick you in the middle, and I say, you have one chance, blindfolded, to walk anywhere in the state of Texas, and I want you to bend down and pick up this one piece of pink chalk. It is literally almost impossible if you think about it. The chances of you picking up the one piece of pink chalk amongst all of the orange or whatever colored chalk this is, that's crazy. And I can't even think about the 157, 10 times the 157, I don't know how much that would cover. I don't know what kind of, states or countries that would fill up, but I mean, that's crazy that Jesus found that one piece of chalk amongst all of the hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of orange pieces of chalk. He beat those odds of finding that. He fulfilled not just 8, but all 48 of prophecies about his life and death. But I want to tell you guys about something that happened in 1950. There was a group of well-known scientists, well-known government officials and people who are very well-known and well-respected. They all got together and they wanted to kind of predict what the future would be like in 25 years. So in 1975, they wanted to kind of predict what life would be like then. And some of these prophecies that they had, or predictions that they had about the future, I guess seemed real to them at the time, but I want to give you a few of the examples. They said that by 1975, every family in the United States, or just about every family, would own their own helicopter. That was a prediction that they made about the future. They also said that every car would be powered by water, therefore eliminating air pollution. And I don't know if you noticed, but we're still running on gas, and it's air pollution is no better than it was then. So, I mean, these things are crazy. And they also said that that health, that they would cure just about every sickness that is known to man. That they could cure like 90% of all sickness on the earth. That all these sicknesses, they have a cure for just about every one. And if you ask me, and if you do your own research and look around, that's obviously not true at all. And remember, these things were predicted to happen in 1975, and it is now almost 2016, and none of these things are still alive or around. I mean, I don't know of any American family that owns a helicopter personally, I mean, except for the richer ones, but they own just about anything. But the government was never voted out for these things. They had gotten every single prediction wrong about the future. Everything that they said would be happening in 1975, none of them came true, not a single one. Yet we still rely on the government. We still respect them in a way. We still have those scientists that are respectable men, but we never voted them out for all those predictions that they got wrong. We never counted them as false. Why do we, or why do you, I guess, count the Bible as wrong? Why do you say that the Bible is fake? These things aren't true. Because out of 1,817 prophecies, every single one was eventually fulfilled. Every single one, and not just fulfilled in such detail. I mean, it's crazy some of the things that it wasn't just fulfilled, but every little detail of those prophecies were fulfilled. There wasn't a single thing missing. But why do you still count those things as false? You count the Bible as a fairy tale. Maybe because it seems almost impossible that this number is just far too big for it to actually come true, for Jesus to fulfill those prophecies and beat the odds of 1 out of 10 times 16, or to the power of 16. I mean, it seems a little ridiculous, and I'll tell you, it's only by the power of God. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because it literally is almost impossible for you to pick up that one piece of pink chalk amongst the orange pieces of chalk that's covered the entire state of Texas. But I've given you the facts now. You can look up the prophecies yourself. You can go and look through the scrolls. You can see when they were dated. And you can see for yourself that they truly were predicting the future and the life of Christ. And that Jesus fulfilled every single one of those prophecies. And you've got this information now. It's up to you to do the research now to really truly look into that. And I'm giving you this information, so you can either accept it or continue to believe that the Bible is a fairy tale.